is on. We had a little bit of technical difficulties this morning getting online, and so I appreciate everybody's patience. We're going to go ahead and get started in about 3 or 4 minutes. You can just hang tight. We will get going. I get to view a list of the attendees, and it's so great seeing so many familiar names and so many Foundation Alliance members. This is really exciting. So I just want to say welcome to everyone who is joining us on the call today. I do know that there are quite a few of our Foundation Alliance partners who are not able to make the call today, so we will be recording this. If you have other staff members on your team that you would like to be able to view this webinar at a later time, they will be able to do so, and we'll give you instructions on how to do that. Are you on?
I am here.
Fantastic. Tara is our special guest. You will be able to hear from in a little bit. So I appreciate you joining us, Tara. You're good.
Excited to be on the call as well.
Wow. A big group of people you get to be able to share with. So we're excited about that. So let's give a couple more minutes as we still see people are coming into the call. A couple more minutes and we'll go ahead and get started. Yeah. Still see some people calling, and this is wonderful. Like a two of the Rare Disease Foundation world. This is great. The things about this Foundation Alliance is such the broad experience of the kind of people we get to meet and be able to network more closely with. So go ahead and get started. If you can go ahead, Ashley, and start the recording, that would be wonderful. Well, thank everybody for coming. My name is Carrie Oestria. I am with the Advocacy team here at Global Genes, and this is our first of our what's going to become a quarterly occurrence with our Foundation Alliance members, quarterly webinar. I'm going to give you a little idea of what today is going to look like. We're going to have all of our members of our Advocacy team share a little bit about themselves as we're sharing a little bit more about our Foundation Alliance expansion, what you guys can expect from us, what we'd like to be able to share with you, what we'd like to be able to learn from you as well. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to share this with Amanda Knitter, who is our Director of Patient Advocacy, who's going to talk about the actual expansion of the program, what that entails. I'm going to introduce Ashley Lee, who is our Manager of Advocacy Programs, who's going to talk about different ways that you will be able to get involved and to be able to network and to be able to get more exposure for your organization. And those of you that participated in our membership survey, I wanted to go over the results with you because we have a lot of great information about what our Foundation Alliance looks like and the people that make it up, and what we've learned and how we're going to take what we've learned from you, be able to apply that to future enhancements of the Foundation Alliance program. We invited Tara Schmidlin from Coriell Institute to just give a little bit of education on biobanking and how you guys can use that to increase the research that you guys are already working on. And we're going to finish up with a Q&A. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this off to Amanda Knitter, our Director of Advocacy, who's going to talk a little bit about our Foundation Alliance program expansion. Amanda?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Carrie. And again, we apologize. The internet at our office was on the fritz, so we had to do some plan B. So I'm glad everyone's on, and we can go ahead and share real exciting expansion of the Foundation Alliance program. You know, this is something that has been ongoing for a number of years, and this year we really are taking initiative and hope that with your partnership that we can really make this be something that can expand far beyond what it is. Just a reminder, can you please put yourself on mute? I can go ahead and mute everyone if we have to that point, but we do want to try to make it as open as possible. So thank you for muting. Okay, a number of you should have received from our team
Am I still there? Oh.
Yep, I was talking to myself. I put myself on mute.
You did.
All right, everyone. Okay, so a lot of you probably received this in the mail. It's one of our new additions. It's a flyer that really explains the member requirements, the member benefits, what level of commitment we would like to see from you all as Rare Foundation Alliance members, and some of the resources. So I'm going to break this down a little bit more and quickly run through this in the interest of time, and you already received it. But then allow for some questions at the end if you have any. So, you know, at the end of the day, the Rare Foundation Alliance is an organization and a coalition of all the rare patient organizations that we really know together we are more powerful. So at the end of the day, sharing these best practices that we've already learned, or sharing lessons learned and collaborating, we really give a lot more to the overall community of the rare disease space. And, you know, we know, and Carrie will share a little bit later, is that the demographics of these foundations and your patient organizations really are driving on volunteer hours. So, you know, wherever we can really work together and figure out the ways that we can really bring down these barriers and learn and not recreate the wheel are really important. So forward, these are some of the benefits that have always existed. Some are new, when we'll go through them really quickly here. But we want to make sure that you're taking advantage of some of the things that we have to offer you all, and then also get engaged with your fellow members on the Rare Foundation Alliance. So one of the things that we're really trying to implement this year are quarterly webinars like the one we did today. Normally it'll be a little bit more heavy on the secondary presenter, where we'd have experts and you have access directly to these experts for different types of really relevant topics and ones that you have asked for. So keep us engaged with things that are going on in your community, and chances are that's something that will be relevant for other Rare Foundation Alliance members. We also launched the private Facebook page, which I know Ashley and Carrie will talk a little bit more about the progress of that already. But so this is a space where we really try to put into action the collaboration and networking throughout the year. And it's, again, private, so you can ask questions and open forums for those types of questions and feedback from your fellow patient organizations that may have gone through that already.
Let's surprise. I know I was.
Okay, everyone, I can hear some background music or noise. So if you could please mute, that'd be great. Okay, so then the next one is webinar technology support. So in general, we will provide the platform for your community to do webinars. So if your organization really wants to put on some kind of information, topical webinar or forum, please show us, because we have some technology that we can help support you. Okay, I'm going to try to mute everyone one more time. Give me 1 second here. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry. So the webinar technology support is really for those opportunities where you have some great topics that you might want to share with your community, but maybe don't have the technology or ability to get that technology with limited budgets, as we all have. Willing to help support you. You do the logistics of promoting and getting the content, and we'll help with the platform, similar to like today. Hopefully with less technology issues, of course. And then promotional opportunities. Again, on our social media channels, event promotion, we have a Rare Daily that we'll talk a little bit more about later. That's a blog for hot news and things coming up in the rare space. So all things that have previously existed, but we just really, or except for the Facebook page, but we really want you to take advantage of in the coming year, so that we can make this a really robust program and benefit the broader community. And then the two big things, one new this year is the Rare Patient Impact Grant Program. So this is exclusive for Rare Foundation Alliance partners, where you have an opportunity to get a grant. We want to expand this year, going into 2022, and we will be release that in July this year. So we are moving so it's not.
Sounds about scary to me too.
I think Lisa, can you please mute? Thank you. And then the other thing is with the grant program, we will be trying to make it a little bit more streamlined for you all. And keep getting feedback. So the Rare Patient Impact Grant Program, like I said, July, and we'll be sharing the guidance more specifically. There will be a webinar that you'll hear a little bit more about, as well as hopefully getting a lot more funding to support this program. Right now, for 2016, we have 18 grantees that are all Foundation Alliance members that have received funding, and we'll be sharing a little bit more in the coming year. A little bit about what their projects are, and so when they're complete. They're in progress right now. Some of them are not going to be done until the full year, as they're a little bit more robust. So we will be sharing that in the coming months. The Rare Patient Rare Patient Advocacy Summit. I'm going to go to the next slide here. So this is kind of the culmination of all of the educational programs that we really provide at Global Genes. And this two-day summit is hosted in Huntington Beach, California, and you'll see the dates here on this slide, September 22nd and 23rd. You actually have an ability to register early, so your registration is open right now. General registration will open for the general advocates and other pharmaceutical and biotech and researcher community starting June 1st. So you have another week or so where it's really just for you. So please take advantage of this. Please let us know if you have any questions. Travel scholarships are available up to $750 for patients and your advocates. So please take advantage of that. Again, please go ahead and mute if you can, so we can eliminate some of the background noise going on here. Thank you. Carrie, anything else you wanted to share about the summit in particular?
We have a really incredible agenda this year. Everything from research, drug development, caregiving, clinical trials, organization building. It's a really jam-packed schedule. Nicole, Weiss, Maureen Hart, and the rest of our team have really done a tremendous job to listen to what everybody requested last year of us and put together this program for this year. And I want everybody on this call to be able to take advantage of the travel scholarships. We have sent out the link. If you need us to send the link out again, I would be more than happy to do so. It is up to $750 to be able to help support your travel to get out to the Foundation or the Advocacy Summit. And registration is only $50. That includes the 2-day summit plus all your meals. And each Foundation Alliance partner is also invited to join us, our Tribute to Champions of Hope Gala. For those of you who haven't attended, it's kind of our Thurs of rare disease, which is kind of exciting, and it's a beautiful event, and you would be available to have a complimentary ticket to have you join us. So we really look forward to have you join us, and we really want to do our best to try and get you there. So let us know what we can do to kind of help you along.
Thank you, Carrie.
Of course.
Okay, one other benefit that I want to share and that we're really excited about, because we got to grow our team a little bit this year, from, just Carrie, who, is, you probably all know very, very closely, we extended to both Ashley and myself, and that allows for a little bit more one-on-one support from our advocacy team here at Global Genes. So with that mailing that we sent out, we did, quote-unquote, assign a liaison for you, where you have, someone that will answer just your questions, and of course you have access to all the other people on our advocacy team. But we really wanted to make you feel as if you had someone that's personally there and understands your organization a little bit more in depth. So please outreach to us. We want to hear from you. If you have questions, if you want to share a great success or something cool that's going on in your community, that helps us better connect you all on the Foundation Alliance, because we look at those places where there's dots to be connected and just a lot of synergy. So please, here's all of our information and outreach to all of us, or specifically your liaison as needed. The other thing that I just wanted to highlight quickly, I know that we're getting a little bit tight on time here. Membership commitment. So, this is really an organization and group. You're going to get the most out of it what you put in. So the more people contribute, actively participate on these quarterly webinars that we're hoping to be a little bit interactive in the future, share your resources, share Global Genes' resources with your communities, participate in at least 50% of the quarterly calls, so twice a year. If more, we don't want to limit it to that, but we just really want to bolster sharing among the community. And like I said, the more you put in, the more you contribute, the more full those efforts are going to be. So really ask for your help in making this a great, group of people, great group of patient organizations that will make our community stronger. I'm going to turn it over to Ashley Yee. She's our manager of advocacy programs. She's going to go over some of the great ways that you can engage even further with our organization and help to contribute to not only, utilizing the resources, but contribute to the content, because we all know that you have such great resources and know-how that can be one way we do that. So I'm going to turn it over to Ashley.
Thanks, everyone. For those of you who I haven't met, again, my name is Ashley Yee. I'm the manager of advocacy programs at Global Genes. I think I've had the pleasure of talking to some of you, but I look forward to getting to more of you. So I'm going to just jump right into some of the ways that we can get engaged. So we have our Rare Toolkits program, our Rare webinars, our Cox Prize Program, Rare Med Forums, and Rare Daily. So webinars, I think many of you guys have probably seen all our webinars and probably read a lot of our toolkits. Both of them are all online at our Global Genes website, but Rare Toolkits are resources developed for the community on a lot of topics that include organization development, advocacy, medical topics. A lot of these topics are given to us by you guys, and so we're hearing what your need is, what you guys would like to know. This is a way for us to provide some action as well as share best practices. And they're coming from professionals in the field as well as advocates just like yourself who've had really some great stories to share and some success in that field and are willing to share a lot of that knowledge to help everyone out and help our community grow. Our webinars are kind of our point to our Rare Toolkits. A lot of them are partnered together. These are live presentations where you have access to advocates, and experts in the field and are able to interact with them, your questions answered, and again, share best practices and provide education. We'd love to have more of our Foundation Alliance members participate in these toolkits and webinars. We'd love for you guys all to get involved. If you have experience or stories in any of in specific topics, I would love to hear from you. I oversee the toolkits and webinars, so at the bottom you see my email. You can also find my contact information on our website, as well as if I'm your liaison, please feel free to contact me. I would love to have more advocates share their stories and their knowledge with the rest of our community. We also have a program. This is a little bit of a younger program. Me and Carrie are very excited about where this program is going. For those of you who do not know about our Cox Prize Program, this program is something that Carrie started, and it helps match rare families, so either yourself or your child are affected, and they are matched with a local medical student. And that student works with you, gets to know you, your family, to learn more about the challenges that comes with living with a rare disease. The essay that's really about how to understand the rare disease community and the compassion that comes with the rare disease community. And the program is really geared towards helping medical students understand what is rare, what it looks like, and hopefully they can take that to the medical world and build that side of their understanding for our community. Participating for this, we would love to see both more medical students and more families participate. Carrie's provided the link to see where there's a lot of city requests, but we'd love to expand this program even more, so we're always welcome to have as many families request matching. Our 2016 is winding down, but we are gearing up for 2017, so please feel free to contact both myself and Carrie if you have any questions. If you're connected to a teaching hospital or any medical students, we would love to expand our medical network as well. Feel free to contact me on that part. Please look forward to this program. We'll be starting this up again in 2017, and would love our Foundation Alliance to participate. Our Rare Med Forums, this is kind of a branch off. You can consider it from the Cox Prize. It develops a lot of the same ideals as our Cox Prize program, except it works more with healthcare professionals. So what is we actually collaborate with teaching hospitals. Many of them could be in your local area, and we set up presentations with both professionals and speakers in the field, as well as advocates to share their stories, and it helps give an understanding to healthcare professionals about the rare disease space. Again, this will help build more education with our healthcare teams and more compassion for the rare disease community. If you're interested in participating, we would love to encourage anyone with connections to hospitals or that can hold grand medical rounds or interested in possibly sharing your story. You can contact Carrie at her email. And one that we have is our Rare Daily. Our Rare Daily is one of our blogs, and this is a great way to share your story, advertise any of your upcoming events or conferences. If you want to share breaking news within the rare disease space for your specific disease, this is where you can submit your stories. You can contact us at our Rare Daily at our main website. Again, this is just a really great way to share your story and get the word out more about rare disease. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Carrie.
I want to share our Foundational Alliance member private page. I've received a number of messages already on this regarding the link at the bottom of the screen that you see, globalgenes.org/FA members. This is the first iteration of what's going to become a Foundational Alliance member portal. This is your go-to when you're looking for how you can actually physically get involved. Top of this page, you will see our current actionable requests. Ashley and I will be posting whatever our current needs are. For example, she's looking for experts in fundraising. So if you have an expert in fundraising that can participate in a toolkit or webinar that's coming up, that's where our immediate needs are. So we're, as Ashley mentioned, we're kind of winding down for the Cox Prize matching for this year, but we still have a couple of locations, especially for those of you who have families in El Paso, Texas. We're in desperate need of families in El Paso, Texas to be matched with medical students who we have not yet been able to match. But there are other cities as well. This will also show you how you can access those areas that Ashley was talking about. The promotion awareness. There's links to the Rare Daily. There's links to how to share your organization's events, to order denim ribbons for your events. And we offer all of our toolkits in print that you can order for conferences and meetings that you have. These are free for you. We just ask that you pay the shipping fee. So if you want to order any of the Rare Toolkit topics, please follow that link and you'll be able to order them online. In addition, on this page, we offer the different ways to currently network with each other. I have the list of current members, which lists the diseases that they have, a link to the private Facebook group, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, webinar technology platform that Amanda spoke about earlier. If you want to host a webinar, we offer one webinar a year. We provide complete technical support. You get to choose your speakers, create the presentations, marketing. We will be able to provide the platform for you. And this link will give you more information on how to do that. And we're also offering priority registration for the summit. I know a lot of you have already taken advantage of that. Registration for the summit actually opens June 1st. We have a limited number of hotel rooms left at the Foundation Alliance rate. I think it's only a small handful, so if you haven't already booked your room, we would love for you to be able to go do that. And finally, the Foundation Alliance member badge. A lot of you have been asking, what can we put on our website to show that we are proud to be a part of Global Genes Network? So we put this badge that we would love for you to be able to put on your website, through social media, and just really share the importance of our collaboration together. So that, I'm going to share a little bit about our demographics. What we learned from the survey was really interesting. So you can go to the next slide. That about results for about 20% of our Foundation Alliance, which for a 2-week survey we were really thrilled with. As you can see, I'm not going to go into detail on each one. This will give you an idea of the types of organizations that you will be able to collaborate and network with. What we found very interesting is how many of these foundations are really focused on a single rare disease, which was at least 2/3 of the group. Next slide, please. A large part of our group are 501c3 established. If we can have everybody please mute. I hear in the background, that would be wonderful. Now, what I'd like to do is also, because the Rare Impact Grant Program is not just for 501c3 established organizations, it is also for support groups and 501c3 pending organizations. We really want to be able to encourage not established foundations to take advantage of Global Genes and our Foundation Alliance, but those who really are wanting to create these nonprofit organizations to be able to support their families to go forward with research or their legislative efforts. I really want to kind of give everybody the opportunity to take advantage of these resources. And this is probably no surprise to most of you that almost 2/3 of our Foundation Alliance are all volunteers with no paid staff. We do have quite a few legacy organizations that have been around for a while that have staff, and we're really excited to be able to engage you, to be able to learn from you how you were able to get to that step, be able to share it with those who don't have paid staff yet or have just a few paid staff. So that's going to be one of the benefits that we've learned from the survey to be able to bring to the different organizations. Next slide, please. And that's really an exciting one for us because we're seeing that a lot more of you are creating awareness days, whether it's a day, week, month, whatever it may be. We're really seeing, especially with the popularity of social media, to be able to take advantage of outreach to create a day that really brings attention to your Rare Disease Day. All of you know about World Rare Disease Day, which is the last day of February of each year. But I think it's important for you to consider the other rare diseases that have recognized days. I put some examples on the website, like CQ2, Gaucher disease, Pompe disease. This was just a handful of ones. If you don't see yours on this list, we have a complete list, and we will be actually compiling a list that we'll share with all Foundation Alliance members. Because the things we would love to do is to be able to have our Foundation Alliance recognize each other as well. Especially if you have a disease that is in a related family. For example, Gaucher and Pompe are actually in the same disease family of lysosomal storage diseases. We want to encourage the support of each other. We'll be able to build on that as well. Next slide. Now, you guys want to hear from us was a really interesting observation for us because we weren't really sure what the best way to communicate with you was. And we got some great feedback, and it seems that the best time to hold these quarterly webinars is right now, during business time, during the week. So we're going to go ahead and stick with that schedule, and our team will be putting together the remaining schedule for the rest of the year. So you'll be able to build that on your calendar. Some insight from you on how often you want to hear from us on various things. For example, action alerts, whether they're legislative or community-focused, things that need immediate attention. The majority of you feel very comfortable with us reaching out to you that day or that week to say, look, this is what our rare disease community needs to take action on, and here's the information. In terms of the launch of new tools and resources and the use in the rare community, it seems to be a mix of immediately and monthly. So I think what our team is going to do, and we'll finalize this within the next few weeks, it's a monthly newsletter to be able to provide this kind of information for you, which will, over 80% of you, excited about being able to get information within a month. I think that might be the best option for us. And those of you who are interested in a Facebook group, this number blew us away. And it shows the popularity of Facebook into how social media affects the rare disease community. But it also shows how well that we can kind of utilize what's already there to be able to create a forum for each of you to share. So 90% of you were really interested in a Facebook group. Next slide, please. And we started that Facebook group, and our team was honestly blown away by how quickly it took off. Everybody who is in the Foundation Alliance had an email invitation. So if you don't have access to this group, but you want to get access, please just email me and we'll make sure that you get access. But I posted some of the recent conversations. If you're in and access to each other. We encourage everybody to use their personal profiles because we want our Foundation Alliance to see each other as the amazing people that you are who are working in these foundations, know each other as people as well as foundations, because there's a lot to learn from each other, and everybody brings practices and their challenges to this group. So being able to have a forum where at any time of the day you can pose a question or a suggestion or some exciting news and get instant feedback, this group is going to be really strongly used for that. As well as we're going to probably be going to a monthly newsletter, we're going to be able to use our Foundation Alliance Facebook group as our instant access for things that aren't a priority, such as action alerts. If you don't have access to this yet and get access, please email me and we work on getting you access. Next slide, please. One of the things that we would really love to encourage our Foundation Alliance is we need your help in getting our resources out there. We have over toolkits and a variety of topics of which Ashley shared that many of you have participated in creating, as webinars and articles in our Rare Daily blog. We really want to be able to get those out there, all free resources that your community can benefit from. We really want to encourage you to be able to share those with your community. And if you aren't sure about how to do that, please let us know, because we want to really give you the tools or whatever you need, whether it's graphics, verbiage, what you need to really get these tools out so we can share them with the community. Some suggested, some of our sample articles and toolkits at the bottom. So, for example, if you have a group that's interested in registries, we have a toolkit on that, informed consent. We just launched our drug development series, which is a 3-part intensive kit, which will really give you a basic understanding, a basic, intermediate, and expert understanding on the whole drug development process. Ashley is always cultivating new topics for 2017, so if you have ideas that we have not already covered, please reach out to us, because we build our toolkits and webinars based on the feedback we get from you guys. Next, please. So I'm going to ask everybody to unmute. Now that we have shared what our enhanced program is and what our goals are, I'd kind of like to get a little feedback from you on if there are additional things that you would like our team to consider building in the next year, 3 years, 5 years. That would be a real benefit to those of you who are part of Foundation.
She probably just still needs some notes.
I got
Really, like everything.
She does. Once you just stop the image.
Anybody?
If you want to share for now, since we can, I think there's a little audio trouble right now. Please just let me know through chat or Q&A, and I'll unmute you, and we can talk more openly. One thing I think we just got a question that was really great is, what are the next steps for the Foundation Alliance? And, is there going to be more leadership amongst the patient organizations? And that is absolutely the game plan. So this is just the really soft launch of, here are the resources that have been around and benefits and things that we're launching off from, that we've heard from Global Genes' perspective. But we really want this to turn into something that is run and led by patient organizations, where we're there to help support and cultivate wherever we can, but really that it's led by you. So please, if you're interested in helping us shape that as that moves forward in the next 6 months to a year, I think that'll be something that we'll tap on certain people and voluntold people, but we really want people to that want to be engaged with the leadership of this organization and this Foundation Alliance to just feel free to outreach to us. There was a great question too that came in. Can we brand toolkits with our logo to our community? And we didn't cover this specifically, but there have been a couple organizations that have taken content from the toolkits and really added something specific to, their community. So if there's one example is the Usher Syndrome Coalition is using the school-based toolkit, and they are adding a couple specific topics related to visual and hearing impaired regulations and things that go beyond and are more specific for the community. And all you have to do is work with Ashley on that, and then we'll share, how to correctly give branding and content credit to, our different contributors. So yes, and we welcome that. There was another question that came in related to more webcasts per year for each member. So it was, I'm going to go ahead and take Sierra off mute here so you can share a little bit more of what you by that. Okay, Sierra, you now.
Just think our community in particular could use webcasts even quarterly, talk about everything from basic science to current research, to the toolkits offered. I think there's a variety of ways that we could use the webcast more than once per year.
Okay, great. And the plan is, are you talking about the Foundation Alliance webinar specifically, like the one we're doing today?
About webinars for her own community. I'm going to address that if I can. With this initial program for the next 12 months, because we have over 300 Foundation Alliance members, we need to limit it to 1 year because we really need to kind of get a sense of how big this program can evolve. So one of the things we're going to do over the next 12 months is see what kind of use this program gets. We've had a number of people reach out to me asking for increased support on that, and that's definitely something we want to consider for the next year. We got to kind of see what our capacity is for this year and being able to make sure that everybody who wants to get at least one webinar will be able to do so.
Sorry for that clarification. I'm going to open it up for Monica Weldon. You had a great question about fundraising. Are you able to talk, Monica? Otherwise, I will question. Okay, so Monica's great question was related to teaming up for fundraising. And so one thing she was wanting to hear is if there is any interest in foundations teaming up to do joint fundraisers or events. So I'm going to try one more time to unmute everyone, and then maybe we can have an open forum on that for just a few moments, and then we can go on to our presenter for today. And like I said, we want the webinars, the quarterly webinars that we're doing with the Foundation Alliance to be more open forums like this. So the first one's a little odd because we had to kind of relaunch and share all the benefits, and then we're having Coriell. But we hope to have more of those kinds of questions, Monica. So I'm going to unmute everyone one more time.
But
Anyone want to share about fundraising, and if you sure want to?
that's why I'm stepping up. No, because she was asking for things. No, she asked me to show it to her.
Okay, so we'll just go on, Carrie, if you have any other questions or things that you would like to share.
Yeah, in response to Monica's question, because she and I have talked about this, and I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, Monica. One of the big events last year was the Give Rare, which was not one of our events, but it was something that we supported. I know that Monica from Bridge the Gaps in Gap and Pam Mays from FMDSA are looking into being able to kind of relaunch that with the foundation owning this project. So if you're interested, I'm going to ask Monica to kind of post that on the Facebook group to continue that discussion and see what kind of feedback you get from that.
And the chat box, if you can see there's quite a few people that are interested in that. So I think that'll be a great option, Carrie, for using the Facebook group. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Tara from the Coriell Institute, and I want to make sure your audio is working, Tara. Tara, are you with us?
Didn't lose her. Tara, are you online? We will go ahead and we will get these slides out, and I will ask Tara to create kind of a little bit of an overview of what she was talking about. Because biobanking is definitely something that we would love to be able to discussion around as well. This is Coriell Institute by samples, whether it's fibroblasts, blood samples, other that researchers can access. What doesn't have to be a specific researcher you're working with, but it's really set to encourage the use of research among different groups. It's a nonprofit that's based out of the Northeast, I believe. And we will get her to put together a little summary on how this works, how biobanking works, and we will share her slides with you as well. I'll be sending out all this entire slide deck to you. It will be posted on the Facebook group and posted on the private Facebook page. And you know that Tara and her colleagues will be available to answer any questions and encourage questions you may have on biobanking and how your foundation can take advantage of it. So if you can go to the slide that she has regarding CureCMD, the case study, I'd love to be able to share a little bit about that. Do we have CureCMD on the line with us?
Tara's still on. Tara, can you check your audio one last time? Okay, she's now Carrie, so.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Okay, so you can back
still on. She can hear us. We just can't hear her at this point. I don't know why.
God
we'll
love
go
it.
into this a little bit in the meantime. Thank you.
This is an organization we came across recently, and really is a wonderful offering for you to be able to consider biobanking as a part of your foundation program, especially if you're focused in the research area of your disorder or related disorders, to see how you can benefit from this type of system. So once we get Tara on the line, she'll be able to share a little bit more about how you guys can get involved and how it could benefit your organization. Let's give her a couple minutes.
And if people still have questions, you can use the chat function or Q&A, and we'll go ahead and share those as well.
How's she doing?
Hello?
There she is.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. I called in on my cell phone and was off mute, and nobody could hear me. So,
Well, I'm glad you do a much better job than I can explaining biobanking and how our foundations can take advantage of it. So
I will take it from the top, and we'll go through as quickly as I can and take questions at the end. So my name is Carrie. I'm a genetic counselor at the Coriell Institute. I talked to you today about one of the biobanks, one of several at Coriell, specifically the GMS Human Genetic Cell Repository. This is a research resource for scientists specifically focused on heritable genetic diseases and chromosomal abnormalities. So you can go to the next slide. The Coriell Institute is dedicated to providing the scientific community with well-characterized, high-quality cell lines and DNA for basic research in biomedicine, for teaching, for diagnosis and prevention of human genetic diseases. We're an independent, nonprofit research organization. We house a very diverse collection of world-renowned biospecimens, and we also distribute those samples worldwide. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not on the next slide. I figured I would skip right into it if you don't mind. So actually you can go to the next slide after this one as well. The GMS repository was actually funded and started at Coriell in 1972. We're funded by the NIH. We have over 11,000 and over 5,000, almost 6,000 DNA samples. There are different genetic diseases that are represented in this collection. And the collection focuses on heritable genetic diseases, chromosomal abnormalities, but also includes cell lines and DNA from healthy individuals or controls and from individuals of diverse geographic origins throughout the world. We distribute these lines internationally to over 66 countries, and they have been used in several thousand scientific publications. Next slide. Biobank samples used. The samples can be used for disease and basic research, to identify new genes, to explore the function of known genes and gene expression, or what the genes do inside the body, to develop treatments, create new genetic tests, to validate and do proficiency testing, or basically make better, more accurate genetic tests and make sure that current genetic tests are working properly. It can also be used to develop something called man-made stem cell lines, or iPSC, which can be used in treatment development and cell technology and cellular research. Next slide. So Biobanking Important. Important because it offers a centralized collection, store, distribution of cell lines and DNA to all scientists. Typically, giving more people access to these materials simultaneously reduces the cost, time, and expense for each individual scientist, who will not need to recruit and make these materials before being able to do research with their already limited funds. From many different people are needed to do these human studies. So by donating to scientists, you have the ability to teach scientists how a disease specifically impacts you. Not everybody with the same genetic disease has the same experience. Some more less or more severe phenotypes, and some have more severe disease. So we need samples from many, many people to make this collection effective. The results of human cellular studies actually advance patient care and drug development much faster. The human cells, in particular those man-made stem cells that I mentioned before, can be used to test drugs and therapies before human trials in a safer and more controlled environment superior to animal studies. Slide. Samples. For the GMS repository, we accept samples from individuals diagnosed with any genetic disease or chromosomal abnormality. Affected individuals and their close blood relatives can donate blood or skin or tissue biopsies. Possible donors do not receive results. And the reason for this is because we're actually performing the testing or the research at the Coriell Institute. We are essentially the step before, in that we're making the source material. We're making the cell lines and the DNA that will be used in research by other scientists. For that reason, we're not actually able to give out any of the results of anything that is done with the cell lines. However, we aggregate how our cells are used from publications. We ask scientists to provide us with those citations. We add those citations to our online catalog everyone using the materials can see how they've been used and what's been learned from them already. Next slide. Sample donation process is pretty straightforward. It's a one-time sample donation. You can request a blood or a skin biopsy collection kit at the email address shown or by contacting me. There are some paperwork, basically three forms of paperwork: an informed consent form, a submission form, which captures some basic demographic information like age, gender, your disease status, your race, ethnicity, and any family history. And that's for some clinical data and to basically document that the disease was diagnosed and how that was done. So we want relevant medical records, and we often have specific questionnaires based on a given disease that can be completed by a healthcare provider and faxed or emailed in separately. We do ask for copies of things like genetic testing if that's been performed, or diagnostic testing that was key to making diagnosis, because the more clinical information we have on a given sample donation, the more useful that sample is to the scientist ultimately. So clinical information is great for us, and we do actually work with registries as well, so that we're not asking parents and sample donors to provide the same information to multiple entities. We can actually work with a registry, extract registry records, and use that as the accompanying clinical information. So that's an option as well. Go on to the next slide. So to donate a sample, no. We pay for the cost of the kit shipment both ways, whether it's a blood or biopsy kit. If you have blood collected, we recommend that you do that during a scheduled doctor's visit. Donors, if you happen to be charged for a blood draw, we can reimburse up to $40, but in the last 5 years, I haven't actually had anybody need to take advantage of that. And that would be done just by sending a copy of your invoice to me to get reimbursed. For skin tissue or biopsies, they're best collected during planned surgical procedures, again, to avoid any costs being associated with that. And that's something that can be coordinated with surgical pathology by myself and a GMS staff. And we also accept existing cell lines. If you had a cell line created somewhere else or as part of another research protocol, we can talk with the investigator that currently holds that line about possibly transferring that into Coriell. Next slide. So once a blood or a tissue sample arrives at Coriell, first thing that happens is our staff will review the submission paperwork and make sure that we got everything we needed, and we'll confirm the receipt of that sample by email. And we'll also communicate with you by email if we're missing something, if we missed something on the consent form, wasn't filled out, or if we're missing some clinical information, we'll follow up and get that. Next, once we have everything, the Coriell scientists will make a cell line and DNA from the blood and tissue samples. So a cell line is a constantly dividing population of cells, and that's shown in the Petri dishes there on the left. And on the right, we have DNA that's being stored and pipetted into some tubes. So DNA is a molecule that encodes the instructions for growth, development, and functioning of the body's cells and organs. And these two are the primary outputs from the blood and tissue cells that we create and then freeze and store for distribution to our scientists. Next slide. So samples are stored in glass ampules on the left-hand side picture there. That's what cells are actually stored in after they're grown on those Petri dishes. In liquid nitrogen tanks, the photo on the right sort of looks like if you've ever been on a brewery tour. It kind of looks like those kind of tanks. And then the DNA is stored in what looks like a very large kitchen freezer, essentially stored at -80. And those are all stored on site. And we do have redundant storage at another site, so we have backup storage for all of our materials. Slide. Sample distribution. So once these cell lines are ready to go, meaning we've gotten all of the clinical information ready to go, we write up a description that goes along with them, our online catalog. And the way I explain this to people is really we're kind of like the Amazon.com for scientists. So cell lines and your de-identified medical information are made available to researchers through the online catalog. All your names and identifiers, of course, are removed and replaced with a sample ID number. And scientists can literally shop through the cell lines and the DNA samples and read the product descriptions, which will tell more details about the donor, like the age of their disease onset, their gender, their race, ethnicity, their symptoms, their developmental milestones, their family history, and results of genetic or other diagnostic testing. Next slide. Take privacy and confidentiality of our donors very, very seriously. We do not share identifiers. As I said, the only information that gets shared with anybody accessing the samples, and this is qualified investigators only. So we are a public biobank, but we distribute to research scientists who have to demonstrate to us that they have human subject research protection. They have to submit a statement of research intent to request the cell lines and to tell us what they plan to do with them before they're allowed to order from the repository. And once we do get those samples, the age diagnosis, sex, gender, race, ethnicity, that's what they are allowed to know about the donors and nothing else. I also have something called a certificate of confidentiality that's been given to us from the NIH, which protects us from being compelled by any court at the federal, state, or local level to disclose an individual's participation without their consent. I can't think of a situation where that would ever possibly happen, but the fact is that it's there to kind of protect that privacy another step further. Also allow individuals the opportunity, if they change their mind and wish to withdraw their sample, you have the opportunity to contact us and decide to do that. The caveat being that the samples that have already been distributed to scientists are not recalled, but further distribution would stop at the point that you would contact us and say, you know what, I don't want my cell line to be distributed any further. So that is an option as well. Next slide. I've asked actually to talk a little bit about specifically how we work with foundations and advocacy groups. So we work directly with patients and families who just kind of come across us, and they can contact me, and I can set them up with a blood collection kit or tissue if that be the case. I also try on a broader level to work with individual foundations and advocacy groups and get the message out and do some larger collections and larger events around this to build a scientific resource for their individual disease, their disease group. So we can do this a number of different ways. We exhibit and speak at conferences, at disease and foundation conferences, develop and distribute publicity materials like flyers, brochures. One of the most popular things we've done is YouTube videos that are customized for your disease group. We social media, we're kind of new to the social media space, but we're increasing our presence there. We try to facilitate sample collections at conferences and family events whenever that makes sense. We also can coordinate missions with investigators. So if you have a scientific staff and a group of physicians and researchers who are doing their own work and have studies that they have planned, we can work with them to actually modify their IRB protocols to allow for sample collections to go to the repository. So if they're collecting a tube of blood for their own research, they can send an additional tube of blood to us and actually write that into their protocol, into their consent, and we work with them to help them do that. That's just a quick example or list of things that we've done. It's not limited to this list, but we're very flexible and we're very open to new ideas of how we can work with groups to help you out and to help build these resources. So that's a little bit of that. And then the next slide, I'll tell you just a specific case example with a group that we have had a relationship with since 2009, actually. So we work with CureCMD, which is a congenital muscle disease support organization. This was a group that I met at a National Society for Genetic Counselors conference. 2009, the first sample collection that we did with this group was at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in 2010. We collected samples again at a family conference in 2011. That summer, actually, one in Minnesota and one at CHOP, and then again in 2012 at the NIH. We have done a number of things with these samples. So currently the collection is up to 200 cell lines, representing 28 different congenital muscle diseases. There have been at least 10 publications that I spotted in the last couple months going back through the collection looking that actually most of the publications have been clarifying specific genes associated with different types of congenital muscle diseases. All those publications were created using the cell lines from this particular collection. We have samples that are linked to the CMDIR, which is their international registry. We get their registry data quarterly to match up with anybody who's participated in both the RE and the Biobank. An ongoing sample collection through a study that is being done on collagen 6 and lamina 2 disorders. We collected samples through their natural history study that took place over the course of about 4 years. And also, as a result of our relationship with them, we went on to build relationships with their related organizations. So Joshua Frey's Foundation, the Foundation Building Strength, TreatMD, and some other groups that have kind of, as a result of their interactions with CureCMD, we've either gone to their meetings or we've sort of worked with them to promote their materials as well.
Okay. Hello? I'm okay. How are you?
similar.
I too was unmuted and was on a different call. I apologize.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, I'm still here.
Very, very much. If anybody wants to get in touch with Tara, she's shared her information here on this slide, and I've received a lot of questions regarding will these slides be available? Yes, we will have these slides, all these slides available. The Facebook page, the private Foundation Alliance page. We will also email you when the recorded video is out. So Tara, thank you very, very much for sharing about biobanking and how your organization really does support our rare disease community. Thank you.
Absolutely. Please feel free to reach out to me directly with any questions. I'm happy to answer whatever I can.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, Ashley, if you can move me to the next slide, please. As we are a little bit over time, I'm going to go, if you can just move one more slide. We really want to encourage you to take advantage of what our current benefits are and current offerings. Global Genes, this program is very unique in the fact we really want to be a bridge to connect you. I've been starting to make quite a few phone calls with many of you to learn about what you're doing, who you are, what your strengths are, where your challenges are, that maybe we can help. And we've really started becoming a bridge for organizations, matching those who are sharing challenges with us to those organizations who have kind of excelled in those areas and being able to put together. Because at the end of the day, the more that you guys collaborate together, the stronger the rare disease community will be, and that is Global Gene's goal, is to make our rare disease community as strong as and empowered as possible. And here is the private page. The password is below. This is the first iteration of this. Our goal is to actually create eventually, hopefully in 2017, a member portal where there will be a lot more interactivity, a lot more availability for you to be able to connect with us as well. Next slide. Thank you for taking the time today. I know how busy you are, especially knowing that 2/3 of you are volunteers working and dedicating your time. And then for those of you who are that paid staff that have joined us, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to a little bit more about this program. And we encourage you to share your feedback with us. This program is based on what you guys need, and we want to build it based on your needs, your suggestions. So you can reach out to us at any time. We would love to continue having phone calls if we have not had a chance to have a call with you to learn a little bit more about what you're doing. Because we really want to do that. We want to learn who you are so we can better provide support and services and connections for you. Just reach out to us at advocacy@globalgenes.org for any requests to be matched with your liaison or just to share some ideas, your feedback on this program, your ideas for other programs, and we'd love to continue working with you. So, Ashley, do you want to say any final thoughts before we let everyone go back to work?
Oh, fun, Carrie.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you for your time, and I hope to see many of you at our Patient Advocacy Summit in September. And for those of you that can't, I hope you're able to join us on live stream so we can still interact there. And thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too.